One river gives its journey to the next. We give because someone gave to us. We give because nobody gave to us. We give because giving has changed us. We give because giving could have changed us. We have been better for it. We have been wounded by it. Giving has many faces. It is loud and quiet, big, though small, diamond in wood nails. Its story is as old, the plot worn, and the pages too, but we read this book anyway, over and over again. Giving is, first and every time, hand to hand, mine to yours, yours to mine. You give me blue, and I give you yellow. Together, we are simple green. You gave me what you did not have, and I gave you what I had to give. Together, we made something greater from the difference. Folks at home are invited to light your chalices while Ron Solberg shares our chalice lighting words. And I need to go in here and figure out why that's stuck. I'll be right back.
The members and the friends of the Unitarian Church of Hinsdale promise each other to listen and learn together with compassion, curiosity, and open mind. Stay engaged and participate to create a warm, welcoming, and financially healthy church community. Work together and beyond our walls to address social and environmental challenges and support our church and its mission with time, talent, and treasure.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Hinsdale. My name is Pam Romancic. My pronouns are she and theirs. Whoever you are, whatever you have on your heart, whatever your perspectives, whatever your experiences that you bring to this community today, as we all join together to celebrate the worth and dignity of every person, you are welcome here. Thank you now for putting your electronic gadgets in worship mode so there's no beeping or clanging during the service. And we're very excited because in a few more weeks, our kids are going to be getting back as they're starting to get their vaccinations. So we'll have our kids in this service with us. In the meantime, if you're here and you have children, you can always take them over to the religious education time at any time for childcare. It's still there, all during all this time. We say thank you to Ron Solberg this morning for being our worship associate, for Jeff Tepema for stepping in to help with the drums, for Jamie for organizing a very special treat that's going to be coming up shortly. So many people offer so much to create a good service for everyone. I'm very grateful for all of them. Let's see, details for everything you saw in the announcement slide will be on our website or in news and notes or in the touchstone that comes out monthly. If you are new to our church and would like to start receiving any of our publications, you can either sign up at the desk at the back of the church, or if you're online, you can go to our website. In the top, there's a heading, Contact Us, and you drop that down and there's a form you can fill out, and then we'll be able to keep connected. Let you know all the cool stuff we're doing. You may have noticed there's some QR codes out around the doors outside coming in. If you have a scanner on your phone, you can scan that and you'll have the order service for today's service. It's always up on the website, and then if there's anything that you want to go back and look at, any videos you missed and you want to see again, you can find those on the website. Today is our day. We're switching permanently to YouTube as our major way of live streaming the service. I would say broadcasting. I think that gives away my age. So from here on out, we'll be on YouTube, and you can always go back to YouTube and find old services there as well. So we're getting there. It's a work in progress. We're so grateful for our folks in the back who have been working so hard to get us there. Let's see. The book exchange is going to have another go-round today. So if you missed free books, go on over to the religious education building, up the stairs, all the way to the end of the hall in Joshi Chapel, and there's a bunch of great books there. So I have to say, I stopped by and snagged a few the other day, even though I'd promised Karen I wouldn't. What are you going to do? Sometimes they just call you. So go look and see what's there. And I think we've shared in the past, we have joined a congregational accompaniment project for asylum seekers. And so with Marion Hunnell Wilson and some other folks here in the church, we are supporting a family that was separated at the border a while back and just reunited about 3 weeks ago. And so in News and Notes, there's some of the things they need. Mostly they just need financial support because they can't work for the next 6 months until they get their paperwork through. And so if there's any, we're going to continue to support them. Last week we had an amazing collection of $1,200. So if you missed that and like to add, you can always do it on our website, on the donate page, the drop-down menu that says social justice, and then it'll go to that family. Or if you drop it in here and write social justice on the check, we'll make sure we get it to them. We're very, very glad that we can be helping them in this as they're taking steps to find a better life. There are probably lots of other good things going on that were on that slides, and I can't remember all of them right now. So we are going to begin our service a little bit differently today. Jamie has written a beautiful piece, and our singers are going to help us start off thinking about the land that we live on today. Let us imagine hundreds of years ago, the pristine prairies and forests, the clear rivers and streams, the people who lived on the bounty of this land. The Unitarian Church of Hinsdale is located on the unceded homelands of many First Nations people, including the Ho-Chunk, the Menominee, the Meskwaki, the Sauk, the Miami, the Kickapoo, the Peoria, the Illini Confederacy, and the Council of Three Fires, Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations. Land acknowledgements can be political statements, but today we're offering it as a spiritual reminder of the people that walk this land and still live here today. We often remember William Channing and our Unitarian forebears who began this church. Today we connect with the people who were here before them, who walked this land, who felt a kinship to the holy and to one another and to this piece of earth. I invite you to center yourself in this truth. We are stewards of this land. We thank the indigenous and native caretakers of this land that we are on and that we are from. We acknowledge our responsibility and our ability to bring our relationships to step beyond habit and comfort, to commit ourselves to remembering the strength of place, the beautiful connection of stewardship. The people who walked this land are still here. We have a large Native community in the Chicagoland area. We recognize that indigenous peoples are traditional stewards of the land. We speak this truth aloud, remembering the wrongs that have been done, and also taking our place in the line of care for this planet. To our Native brothers and sisters, we say, you are still here. We remember you. Our lives are intertwined, and we grow stronger as we take up stewardship with love and care in our hearts, as we hold up our responsibility to this beautiful, green, and loving earth. Amen. Thank you so much. That leads us nicely into our gratitude moment, doesn't it? Each week we celebrate some unsung hero, and we celebrate our choir today, and Jamie for writing that beautiful piece. Yay.
I just wanted to say, you can't sing, so this was the only choice we had.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It's lovely. There are so many silver linings to this last bit of time where we remember we can do other things, so let's do that. Let's use our imaginations. The other person who's being held up today is Nancy Weil. She was recommended because she started our Care Shawl ministry over a decade ago. And through the years, the knitters working with Nancy have created hundreds of warm hugs worth of beautiful shawls. As of last week, they had delivered 312 shawls. That's pretty amazing. So thank you, Nancy, and thanks all the knitters. Now, keep remembering, keep thinking of people around the church that we should be saying thank you to, and adding to my list so we can say thank you every week. Is there anything that anybody wants to hold up this morning that you're grateful for and say aloud that you have on your heart? I'm grateful for all the Alliance bakers who provided lots of cookies yesterday for Sally Packard's memorial. It was a lovely event with a lot of people here to honor and celebrate her life. So thank you for that. Now, out of a place of gratitude and fullness, we bring our gifts to the church community. We work here to make the world just a little bit better place, and so now is the time when we share our blessings to help this good work go on. Today's collection is going to support the ongoing work of the congregation, but you can always put a note if you want the money that you put in the basket to go to one of our social justice causes. As our collection is gratefully received, I invite you to say our offering words together. This church is made up of all of us. It's what we learn together, the fun we do together, and the fun we have together. It's what we share with one another, the people around us, and with all the world. Our collection will now be gratefully received. for all of your generosity and time and talent and treasure. And I forgot, I had one more gratitude that I wanted to share with you, is that our new bookkeeper started yesterday, and he's awesome. His name is Jeffrey Mosley, and we are really grateful to have him. And now, I'll introduce Ron to do our first reading.
Three Gratitudes by Carrie Newcomer. Every night before I go to sleep, I say out loud 3 things that I'm grateful for. All the significant, insignificant, extraordinary, ordinary stuff of my life. It's a small practice and humble, and yet I find I sleep better holding what lightens and softens my life ever so briefly at the end of the day. Sunlight and blueberries, good dogs and wool socks, a fine rain, a good friend, fresh basil and wild phlox, my father's good health, my daughter's new job, the song that always makes me cry, always at the same part, no matter how many times I hear it. Decent coffee at the airport. And your quiet breathing, the stories you told me, the frost patterns on the windows, English horns and banjos, wood thrush and June bugs, the smooth, glassy calm of the morning pond, an old coat, my library card, and that my car keeps running, despite all the miles. And after these 3 things, more often than not, I get on a roll and I just keep on going. I keep naming and listing until I lie grinning, blankets pulled up under my chin, awash with wonder at the sweetness of it all. Thus ends the reading.
Now I invite you into a moment of stillness. Take a deep breath in, a releasing breath out, and listen for a few moments to the stillness and the beating of your heart. From that stillness, I invite you to be fully present to this present moment, realizing that not everyone will have the functions to be able to enter into all the movements, but grateful for the skills that we do have. Invite you, as you are willing and able, to participate in an interactive meditation. Spirit of love, God of many names, we enter into this time of sensory reflection. First, let us shake our arms and hands out. Shake everything out of them. Just, if you don't hit the person next to you, if you can help it. At home, I hope you're doing this at home too. Shake, and then just let them drop. Let all the energy drop down. Then let us shake out our legs and feet. You can do that one at a time. Shake, 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 shake. And then put them solidly on the floor. Then let's stretch our heads really high. Long them, pull them up from our shoulders and dropping our shoulders down to feel a stretch in our bodies. And then take a deep breath in of gratitude, letting it out, thankfulness. Now I invite you to touch your eyes, happy to have the beauty of colors, line, shapes. Imagine the beauty of the world. Flowers, the trees, the babies, the puppies, all the things which offer us such delight. And let us touch our ears. Through them we hear glorious sounds, sounds like we heard this morning, happy ones, sad ones, beautiful songs, lonely cries. Let us listen so well that we actually hear them fully. And let us touch our lips. These are the lips that we receive the food and drink that nourishes our bodies, that helps us to grow, that speaks the words that express our thoughts and our gratitude. And let us feel for the world around us in our imagination. Experience the wind that brings cool, the sun that warms, the rain that nourishes the earth and fills us with that scent of life. The beauty of life is all around us. Let us softly say, each in our own way, thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, nature. Thank you, world. Thank you, companions on this journey. May we smile in delight. Now, if something has risen this morning and is either dancing on your heart or weighing it, you're invited to come up and light a candle, and you can share what's on your heart, or you can simply light the candle and return to your seat.
Two candles this morning for two dear friends of our congregation who are celebrating birthdays today. Unfortunately, they're out celebrating somewhere. They're not here with us this morning. But Kathy Blanford and Lorna Nuniker. So thinking of them on their special day.
Good morning, I'm Sarah Vladica. I'm also celebrating a birthday. It's Asher's 12th birthday today. He's over in RE, but I just wanted to light a candle for him.
This Tuesday, my son Jeff and his wife Sarah.
Welcomed our first grandchild, Alex Lehman Lloyd, a little over 6 pounds.
I lit a candle for the wonderful Julia Beckman, who had a birthday this past week.
Sorry, not miscommunication, right? I'm going to light a candle. Now I forget what I was lighting the candle. Oh, I was lighting a candle that Darren Howard was doing better, and we're really grateful. That's good, yes. And then our 3 final candles. As always, one for
One for this church that walks with us in our sorrows and our joys. One for this green earth that we love. And one for all of those intentions which were too tender to be spoken aloud this morning. Let us all hold one another as we go forward through the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jamie. And here's our choir.
Too Many to Count by Allison Lutterman. My father hands me the bucket and scissors and asks me to go cut peonies, the white, pink, magenta, tightly balled and slightly unfurled. They've multiplied like crazy on the slope behind the house. Long ago, Dad taught himself to garden out of books. My childhood was fat with exalted over tomatoes, blueberry bushes covered with cheesecloth, and a zillion profligate zucchinis, which caused an outbreak of zucchini bread, zucchini muffins, and ill-fated zucchini pizza crust, inciting both my brothers to go on a zucchini strike that lasted to this day. But those peonies, God must have been a little stoned when she dreamed them up, but not stopping at one petticoat or two, but piling layer upon layer until even the exhausted bees surrendered to excessive lingerie. I stuffed the bucket with closed buds and half-open blooms showing their lacy knickers and trudged back up the steep-sloped hill to the house, leaving behind a glowing field of peonies too many to count. Like my father's many kindnesses over the decades, pots of soup, loaves of home-baked bread, hours of earnest listening, all offered with the same voluptuous generosity as now when he takes the laden bucket from my arms and tells me to divide the bounty into smaller bunches so he can distribute them among his neighbors. Thus ends the reading.
One more. We've been talking about gratitude a lot lately. I remember a long time ago when I first heard about gratitude as a spiritual practice, and I was like, I know being grateful makes you feel happy, but how does it make it spiritual or even a practice? But I think I missed the moment of taking a moment. Taking a moment to be intentional. Taking a moment even in the midst of pain, depression, sadness. Taking a moment even in the middle of our really sometimes too busy lives. Maybe taking a moment away from focusing in on our loneliness or our boredom or coveting what somebody else has. But it all begins by remembering to take that moment, leaving whatever usually fills up our minds, and paying attention to something right here and now that we can be grateful for. We're approaching the U.S. Thanksgiving. And we have not only a moment, but a whole day to count our blessings. And I say U.S. Thanksgiving because humans have been giving thanks for eons. The story about the Pilgrims creating that day with the Native Americans is mostly fiction. As you might have guessed, there's a kernel of truth, but the real story is pretty murky. At the Allocation website, anthropologist, Mohawk Nation descendant Patty English writes, harvest festivals were maintained in North America and Mexico, in the Americas in August, September, and October for every year from 10,000 BC or even sooner, end quote. They gave thanks during the green corn moon, the harvest moon, and the hunter's moon. These folks lived in relationship with the natural world, and it was obvious and necessary to be a part of it and to pay attention, to say thank you when you got to the end of the year and you had enough food to last you through the winter. Of course, it wasn't just people in the Americas. Other people have been offering these Thanksgiving feasts for centuries. The Jewish feast of Sukkot goes back nearly 3,000 years. As humans, we know in our bones it is right to stop and be thankful. But our U.S. Thanksgiving as a national holiday was actually started by Abraham Lincoln right after the Battle of Gettysburg. He issued a proclamation that was written by the Secretary of State, William Seward, that said, I do therefore invite my fellow citizens in every part of the United States to set apart and observe the last Thursday of November next as a day of thanksgiving. And I recommend to them that while offering up ascriptions justly due to him, they also, with humble penitence for our national perverseness and disobedience, commend to his tender care all those who have become widows, orphans, mourners, or sufferers in the lamentable civil strife in which we are unavoidably engaged, and fervently implore the interposition of the Almighty hand to heal the wounds of our nation and to restore it as soon as may be consistent with divine purposes to the full enjoyment of peace, harmony, tranquility, and union. End quote. There's a lot in there that fits today, doesn't there? Lincoln issued 9 of these proclamations during his time in office. And since that time, the official holiday of Thanksgiving has remained a part of our national celebration every November. On our National Park System's website, it says that President Lincoln's proclamation might never have happened if not for a woman named Sarah Josepha Hale. Have any of you ever heard of Sarah Hale? I never did. She was the author and editor of the Boston Ladies magazine, and Mrs. Hale started a letter-writing campaign in 1827, trying to establish a national day of Thanksgiving in the country. Finally, on September 28, 1863, she wrote directly to the president and asked him please to use his powers to create the holiday. He issued his proclamation on October 3rd. So it seems pretty likely that he got the letter and said, okay, and fulfilled her 36-year quest.
and we now have Thanksgiving as our national holiday. I'm grateful that I'm constantly learning new things. Why is it important to be grateful? I mean, we all know what happens. We know that it's just a tiny way of saying, you made my life a little better. Whether that's directed to a friend, to the natural world, to a stranger that we meet in the line at the market. It's paying attention to the good that always exists and establishing a relationship of connection with that good by acknowledging and celebrating those connections and by helping us to remember when sometimes it's really hard. I remember when I was a little girl, fourth grade, my fourth grade teacher, Mrs. Timko, and she was teaching us about prayer, but it was Catholic school, so it was okay. She said there were 3 kinds of prayer, and I can't remember what the Catholic words for them were today, but they were what author Anne Lamott calls the help, sorry, wow prayers. And the one that was wow is the thank you prayer. That lesson stuck with me for over 50 years now, because Mrs. Timko said, if you pay attention, if you can find all of the things that you could be thankful for, your life will be connected in ways that it wouldn't be otherwise. And her example was going to bed with clean sheets that had just come off the line. And that example has stuck with me so long that when I sleep on fresh sheets at night, I often say thank you for the sheets and then thank you to Mrs. Timko. And it can be anything. It can be that first bite of pie. Oh my gosh. It can be picking up a baby and smelling the top of her head. It can be watching those annoying squirrels chasing each other all around your yard and up and down and as they stop by your bird feeder to get a little snack. There's so many simple, beautiful things that we can pay attention to if we take that moment. There's also a Buddhist practice of Tonglen, which takes that moment of gratitude and expands it even a little bit further. So if you find yourself enjoying something and your heart is saying, yes, thank you, enjoying the sweet smell of sheets, the warmth of a shower, a delicious dinner, taking that feeling of gratitude and then sending it out into the world, sending a comfy bed to folks who may be sleeping on a hard ground or not be able to sleep at all. Sending the warmth of a shower to people who are in drought or maybe cannot get warm. Sending the warmth of a hug to someone who's feeling lost and alone. It intensifies the magic of gratitude, and that it connects you not only with yourself and with that moment, but it connects you with the wider world as you imagine everybody that could possibly right now really use a warm shower, and send that out to them. In that connection, we remember ourselves. We remember that we are never alone. We remember that people all around this planet are suffering and are laughing and are hugging and are doing all of those things that we are doing, and that we are humans sharing a human experience no matter where we are or what our moment in this looks like in this particular time. When we share what we have, our sense of fullness and blessing intensifies. When we share our gratitude, we remember our 7th principle. We remember that we are all part of this interconnected web of being and can never be separated from that. We have a Thanksgiving tradition of sharing bread communion on Thanksgiving Day. And in past years, many past years, everyone would bring in some bread, and we would also bring in soup fixings, and Tim would be downstairs cooking up a giant pot of soup. And we'd take all that bread after communion, we'd go down and we'd eat our soup. We called it Stone Soup Sunday. We'd eat our soup, we'd share our bread, and it would be a lovely thing. Because of COVID, we thought we better wait one more year. But we're going to have bread communion nonetheless. And we're going to do it a little different. Usually we do it hand to hand and share with one another. And this time I'm just going to invite you to come up and just pick up that one piece of bread
and take that back with you. And then lift your mask, eat your bread, pull it back down. We can do it. We're talented and coordinated enough, right? I have faith in you. But as you take your piece of bread, just remember one thing that you are grateful for today. For folks at home, if you have a little bit of breakfast still sitting on the end table in front of you, or go out in the kitchen and find another morsel that you can hold for a moment, that you can feel yourself connected to everyone in our congregation. We are all connected, no matter where we are, no matter what our circumstances. We have this community that sustains us, that helps us remember our blessings and helps us bless one another. So, remember as you're eating your bread, the warmth, the gratitude, and let it fill all throughout your body. Now Ron is going to lead a responsive reading, and then I'm going to invite you to come up, even as we're doing our responsive reading, and come up and take a piece of bread, and then return to your seats. So if we do a circle around this way and go back, it kind of keeps everything flowing in a good direction. So there's a picture, and there's our response.
For our children who grow like weeds, and though the wind too soon blows them away, may they forgive us our cultivation and fondly remember where their roots are. Let us give thanks for a bounty of people. For generous friends with hearts and smiles as bright as blossoms, and feisty friends as tart as apples, let us give thanks for a bounty of people. For continuous friends like scallions and cucumbers who keep reminding us that we've had them, and crotchety friends as sour as rhubarb and as indestructible, let us give thanks for a bounty of people. For friends as unpretentious as cabbages, as persistent as parsley, as delightful as dill, as endless as zucchini, and who like parsnips can be counted on to see you throughout the winter. Let us give thanks for a bounty of people. For loving friends who wind around us like tendrils and hold us despite our blights, wilts, and witherings. Let us give thanks for a bounty of people. And finally, for those loved ones now gone, like gardens past that have been harvested and who fed us in their times that we might have life hereafter. For all these we give thanks.
I did forget to share, if anybody didn't come up, it is gluten-free and vegan. I mean, the little pieces were gluten-free, but it was all vegan, so sorry if I didn't tell you that ahead of time. I invite you to eat your bread, to remember our connection both to the people in this room, to the people at home, and to the whole country right now in this week that is celebrating what we can be grateful for. Please join me in saying our words as we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of its truth, the warmth of this community, nor the fire of our commitment. These we carry in our heart and share with all the world. One more from our choir. Thanks, singers. And now we take our leave. Before we gather here again, may each of us bring a moment of happiness into another's life. May we each be surprised by the gifts that surround us, and may each of us be enlivened by constant curiosity. And may we remain together in spirit till the hour when we meet again. Amen. And don't forget, you're all welcome to stay for coffee hour. Keep your masks on and just take a sip underneath. You can do it.